But speaking of not liking someone's experience, now we get to the part of the program where they've done it again. They've managed to hospitalize one of their top names for the TNT title match. And what they said was going to be a barbed wire cage. It turned out to be a cage, like a regular cage, but with barbed wire wrapped around certain parts of it. And for some reason, they started the match with 2 tables and 2 chairs laying in the ring inside the cage between Edge and Malakai Black. I was trying to zip through the entrances to get some of this thing over with. Did they ever explain why furniture was laying in the ring?
Just to save time, so the guys didn't have to go into the ring and get it themselves.
All right. Well, within the first 2 minutes, Edge had opened Malakai Black up with barbed wire, and they had used the chairs to whack each other with the chairs, and then they ignored them. Here's the thing. Edge is a great person. He's a great guy and a great talent. He's had a wonderful career. He can work, he can talk, but he's not either setting an example or teaching any of these guys anything. When he instead of teaching them what not to do and giving them matches with him that, whether he puts them over or not, that elevate them in the ring and their talent and teach some kind of timing and experience or whatever, he's just doing the same stupid shit that they're doing. But he's 50 years old, and he's giving them the idea that this is shit that they ought to fucking be doing. And a 50-year-old Hall of Fame talent doing garbage matches in a vanity project promotion is sad whether he means well or not. But nobody is gonna, what did he teach anybody here? How to break your own leg. Because that's what he did. But first they had a garbage match. Malakai Black gets a barbed wire wrapped baseball bat. And instead of just drawing back and hitting him with the fucking thing and winning the match 1, 2, 3, he takes a baseball bat and rakes the barbed wire across Edge's head. And then Edge gets the bat and hits him with a gut shot, at least, but then a supposed headshot, and then he's raking the barbed wire across Malakai, and then he throws the bat away to set up a table. If you're fighting a guy and you're beating him with a bat, why would you throw the bat away to set up a table? And then he hit him with a chair and put him on the table and started climbing the cage. But Malakai Black got up after being hit several times with a baseball bat and crotched Edge. And then Malakai powerbombed Edge through a table off the top rope and got a 2 count. And so I fast forwarded some. And I stop again. And at this point, Edge has put Malakai Black on the table and tied him onto it with barbed wire so he couldn't move. And he climbed to the top of a 15-foot cage and came off with an elbow drop and broke his own leg and got a 2 count.
Well, you need to talk about the way he landed with that elbow drop. I mean, of all the ways I thought he was going to land when he did the leap, he landed in the worst possible. I didn't think he would land that way.
Well, yes, but he couldn't do a splash because the fucking idiot laying on the table had barbed wire on top of him. And what he was trying to do...
So his plan was to jump off the top of the cage and land feet first?
His plan apparently was that he thought that he could jump off and land and put his feet under him enough to break some fall where he could fucking the elbow drop, where he'd only be risking his fucking arm instead of his whole goddamn body and face landing on the barbed wire. The elbow drop would still break the table, is what I got from it. He thought that somehow, he didn't mean to just jump 15 feet and land with most of his weight on his feet first and then but the point being, he finished the match, and he's since revealed on Twitter and etc. that he broke it. What is the bone in the lower leg? The
Tibia.
Tibia. And yeah, and he's going to have surgery of some kind and blah, blah, blah. But in the meantime, the match is still going on. So then they went back and forth, and Malakai Black pulls a piece of the cage off and starts hitting Edge with it, knocks Edge through the cage door so they can go out on the floor. But then as they're on the floor and Edge has speared Malakai Black, here come Brody King and Buddy. I started to say Brody King and Buddy Lee. Brody King and Buddy, what is his name? Matthews. And they stand next to Malakai Black like they're going to menace Edge, and then they both go and turn and stand next to Edge. And Malakai Black starts begging off like, oh, no, no. And then they turn around and beat up Edge.
What was that?
The fuck? Why is Edge standing there in the middle of it? Oh, you guys are going to join me all of a sudden? I've never dreamed.
I don't understand, because it happened so quick. And it teased a lot very quickly. And then they immediately turned on Edge. Why? See, that's the thing. You're looking at Edge like a veteran who should be teaching these guys, not like what he really is. And I don't mean this in a negative way. We're all fans. But he's a mark. He's a mark for... He said it in that promo where he came out defending AEW after the Punk thing. Where he said, I grew up in Canada seeing all sorts of wrestling. You gotta love all sorts of wrestling. He's that guy. And he wants to do all these bucket list things in there. And again,
yeah,
the booking, I mean, the Judgment Day turned on. Everyone turns on him. I mean, this guy can't get any, these guys turned on him after 30 seconds.
So then they threw him in the ring. And they threw more barbed wire in the ring, and they beat Edge up 3-on-1 while the referee stood there watching slack-jawed. And they put barbed wire around his head, so the crown of thorns type of thing for the religious imagery, for those of you who give a shit about that kind of shit.
Yeah, for those of you up on Dark Side of the Ring where they just pointed out what a disaster this was in ECW with the Sandman and Raven. Here you go.
But then they never got that far, because all of a sudden... music and red lighting and Gangrel came through the mat. Not only from underneath the ring, but through the mat and DDT'd the heels. And then when that was finished happening, Malakai Black kicked him in the fucking face and knocked him out. But then Edge speared Malakai Black and put the wire around Malakai Black's face and got kind of a cross face on him. And Malakai Black passed out, and I was ready to join him. Because we were 3 hours into this fucking thing, and it wasn't, the end was not in sight. But now, so now Edge is going to be out for how many months is that going to be? For what? For
I don't
what?
know. I haven't seen a time frame. Have you?
No, but I mean, when you break your leg and you're 50 years old and you are a professional athlete, it's...
And here's the other problem. TNT title. Are we now going to get an interim champion? Are we going to get another tournament? Are we going to get...
I'm thinking of Battle Royal.
You think Tony would go Battle Royal over tournament? He loves tournaments.
Well, we can't let the prestigious TNT title be vacant for too long.
But the thing is, it was... I mean, everything's unnecessary nowadays, but it was an unnecessary spot. It didn't look good. I think if you thought it out well, you would think this won't look good. And then he hurts himself, and everyone hurts himself doing stupid stuff. We talked about everyone breaking their legs jumping into barricades. He broke his leg jumping he jumped off a cage with nothing to break his fall but his leg. And then he broke it.
Yes, not the fall, but the leg. That had to be 15 feet. Every bit. That was
a big cage. That was a big cage.
Well, think about this. That was higher than the scaffold match drop, because the scaffold was 24 feet off the ground. 3 feet for the ring, there's 21 feet, and a grown adult hanging underneath it. That would put your feet at about 13 feet off the ground, right?
How old were you in 86?
25.
He's double that doing that.
And from farther.
Yeah.
But now let's not even do it like that, because then people are going to, don't compare Cornette's athleticism at 25 with Edge's at 50. But we neither one should have been doing it. But at least I had nowhere to go but up after I went down. He's got nowhere to go but down after he went down. Because his condition is not going to get better from here. Anyway,